I was connecting with Julian Roberts out in the UK for the very first time. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, Heather. Good to meet you.
Yeah, so nice meeting you. Most people, if you're tuning in to the first time, I literally meet these guests about 60 seconds before we hit record. So I don't know anything about what you do out in life in the world. So tell us. So what do you do out in the UK?
What do I do? I'm a coach. I'm an organizational leadership coach. So I guess I have a tagline that sort of is on my website, but it's a bit more about who I am as well. Is about unlocking leadership potential.
Ooh.
And I'm all about, and I guess even if you take the word leadership out, I'm all about unlocking potential in anybody. And I guess what comes out of that is it's always been part of who I am in terms of all the jobs I've done. I've been in the commercial environment and I've always managed teams, and I've always got more excited when somebody has changed a behavior or learned a new skill based on me investing in them and they've been coached, sometimes more than actually winning a sale.
Yeah.
I think it's harder sometimes to get somebody from a position of, whether it's a mindset of A to position of B, sometimes more difficult. And I've always got more excited about that and seeing people transform. And that has then sort of pushed me into the whole area of then dealing with people and being a coach. And I guess this spills over to my life because recently my wife and I have just become foster carers. So we've got a 10-year-old, about to be 11-year-old, who's had a tough time, 8 years of neglect, so really, really tough, slightly messed up, but we're doing it. It's obviously giving back. I've also got 3 children, which are a little bit older, 21, 19, and 15, but it's about, for me, unlocking some potential in her as well. And it's not, I mean, we're going to be the big saviors of her and everything's all right, but it's giving her an opportunity, a place of safety, security, some chances that perhaps she never would have got. And so I guess that's what I'm about, and it translates everything I do.
Powerful. I don't even know which direction to go because there's a million with everything you just said. I think the word that keeps popping up for me that you said was potential and unlocking potential. And I was wondering, is it difficult for people to identify their potential or go after their potential? Because I know, like the example, I believe you said it was a daughter that you're fostering. Is that correct? A girl? Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
When you spend, not just kids who have gone through abandonment, but just if we haven't been nurturing our own potential or becoming aware of our own potential, sometimes we think that that's like a fairy tale and that can never be us. And it's for this certain group of elect people who can be leaders and have greatness in them.
Yes.
What's the key there? Is it that we don't see our potential or we don't know how to tap into it?
I think there's probably 3 factors. You've mentioned 2 there. There's I don't think we get totally aware of our capabilities. And I think sometimes that's just lack of self-awareness. And also, which is the second one, I think we've been told something that you won't be this or you can't be that. And whether that's directly by somebody or just by society in itself has said that. But then the final one is this: how do people unlock it? And I guess that's where I come into it. And what I do when I meet a client, I mean, I'm dealing with leaders from leading a function to a CEO, so varying kinds of leadership. And often I get to a place where I create that self-awareness. I create that understanding what they really, really want and goals that they've created, and I try and get them to align to their mission, their purpose, their core, and who they are. Because if you get that alignment, then you get that sort of utopia of excitement, utopia of getting out of bed and motivated and stirred, and you feel good and it feels right, and you go that way. So I create that, almost shine the light on that, and then I help them. And the key thing is, I think sometimes people get the wrong sort of view on what a coach does, or what I do anyway, is often I get on a call with somebody and you see them saying, tell me what to do. I'm thinking, I'm not going to tell you what to do.
Right.
All I'm going to do is shine a light on, find what your core is, what your mission is, and then get you to align to that, and then allow you to develop the plans, the thoughts, the actions, behaviors to deliver on it. Because what I do believe, if somebody comes to me with a positive forward goal, they've created that themselves. I want to be this or do this in future time. I believe and confidently know I can facilitate them to deliver on it, because their system has created it. And if their system has created it, then the system, they might not know about it, will know how to deliver on it. And all I do is take them down to their subconscious and unlock that.
Ooh, tell me how. I want to hear about that, the subconscious. How do you do that?
Well, often there's a thing called Dilt's logical levels, and it's basically a scale of from the outer to the inner. So you've got the environmental factors, what people are aware of, and then you've got sort of behaviors and skills. And often people know what their behaviors are like, they know the impact, they know their skills. And then next level down is your values and beliefs. And most people, if they think about it, will know what their values are. And that's why sometimes if they're in an organization doesn't fit, it's usually the values that are not aligning. But then below values and beliefs is what I call, is what the Dilt's logical level says, mission and purpose. And then ultimately your identity. And it's getting people to that point of understanding. And it's through questioning, it's through getting them to think about metaphors. Metaphors are fantastic. Metaphors are for me, are like treasure when I get into a conversation and I say to somebody, you know, what is that like? It's like what? And they say, oh, it's like my head is banging against a brick wall, or whatever it may be. Maybe a common metaphor, maybe a metaphor. And then I explore the metaphor, because the metaphor is the way your brain takes something quite complex to tell people a situation. And all I do is rewind that and unpick it, and through questioning and through getting them to think deep. And I often, and I'm talking a lot, I realize I tend to do a lot of lack of talking.
I'm interviewing you. I want you to talk.
But often I will say to somebody, I use this thing called clean coaching, and they might say, I don't know, I'm banging my head against a brick wall, and I might say, what kind of brick wall? Which is a bit of a strange question. And they say, oh, well, and then they start imagining, oh, the walls, it's made of concrete wall actually, and then you dig a bit more and you start to unpick what that might be. And so I just try and get them deeper and deeper into their subconscious just by a few questions. And then I might say things like, okay, what happens just before you deliver on your goal? So take them all the way to their goal delivery. And I say, what happens just before? Or things like that. So it's a way of questioning that will create that depth of insights. And often people go away and they've just got a lot more awareness. And also another thing is just creating space to, which is often in my calls and my sessions with people, I won't say a word, and I will pause. And sometimes we naturally always want to fill a gap, and I might have some ideas, and I'll pause and pause. And I've learned actually there is more power in me just not saying a word, just looking at the person, observing, thinking, and then some more comes out. And often they're and the beautiful time is when you're there and they almost don't feel you're there, and you're just guiding them, facilitating them, and not interrupting their thoughts, and you create that wonderful awareness. And then obviously I get to a place where I then call that into an action of something, which is obviously what the idea is. They go away with and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that.
So powerful. We have about 15 seconds left. So who are you looking to connect with on LinkedIn?
It's leaders who really want to make a difference in their life. Simple as that.
Thank you so much for your time. It was an honor.